The battle continues in a new place and time with Dino-Riders.
Hey there, I'm your host Jeremy Burke, and today we're talking about Dino-Riders, the fun 80's cartoon that has been forgotten. There are innumerable legends and myths surrounding the existence of dinosaurs, and they have always been a fascinating topic of scientific discovery. Even in media, countless movies and shows are created about these marvelous creatures who walked the earth millions of years ago. One such show was Dino-Riders, which offered a peek into a prehistoric world with dinosaurs. Along with dinosaurs, the show was packed with exciting elements such as sci-fi, time travel, and the triumph of good over evil, adventure, and so on. Written by the legendary duo Gerry and Carla Conway, Dino-Riders was primarily created with the objective of launching a dinosaur toy line alongside. Today, we'll be exploring this legendary show in detail, and tell you everything there is to know about the Dino-Riders.
We have won a battle, but only a battle. The war goes on.
What was the show all about? Dino-Riders is set in a prehistoric world where dinosaurs still exist on the planet Earth and live a peaceful life. However, their peace is disrupted when a species known as the Therulons travel from the future to their Earth. The Therulons were essentially the good guys who had ended up on Earth as a last resort to escape from the evil Therulons and their leader, Therulon. The Therulons follow the Therulons to the past, and soon try to capture the dinosaurs and brainwash them into working for Therulon.
Now the Valorians cannot stop me. Victory!
On the other hand, the Therulons befriend the dinosaurs and work alongside them to stand up to Therulon and his army of Therulons. The show was based on the idea of triumph of good over evil, and the episodes often end with the Therulons defeating the Therulons by working together in unity. Created by Tycho Industries with the main intention of boosting toy sales, the series only ran for one season with just about 13 episodes, but the Dino-Riders series has had a lot more to offer than just being a means to promote a toy line. It was an exciting show packed with action and adventure, and it had amassed quite a fan following. Let us now dive into this world of dinosaurs and Therulons and Therulons, and explore a few episodes of the show. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
We're not Valorians anymore. We're Dino-Riders.
Exploring the initial episodes. The Dino-Riders first appeared in the year 1988, with an episode titled The Adventure Begins. It gave us a glimpse into the world of dinosaurs before the Therulons overtook Earth, and took us through the history of the Dino-Riders. The Therulons and the Therulons were futuristic races of supernatural beings with long history of clashes. While the Therulons were the good guys, the Therulons were a predatory species of evil humanoids, who often stirred up trouble for the Therulons. In one such instance, the Therulons chased the Therulons across space, who decide to use their space-time energy projector crystal, the Step, in order to escape them.
We've only one chance for escape. Turret, prepare for space-time energy projection.
By using the crystal, the Therulons end up traveling through time and find themselves in a prehistoric world 65 million years in the past. They leave their spaceship, explore the place, and are amazed to see the world untouched by any destruction. The Therulons then spot the dinosaurs and realize just how much they've traveled through time. The dinosaurs tentatively approach the Therulons and are pretty frightened and confused by these unfamiliar species. Youngstar, one of the Therulons, chases a dinosaur who initially seems scared and confused by the Therulon. Youngstar uses his amp necklace, a device that lets them communicate telepathically, to reassure the dinosaur that he means no harm.
We mean you no harm, my huge friend.
He tries to pet the dinosaur, who soon warms up to him and even allows Youngstar to climb on him and ride him. In the meantime, it so happens that the Therulon spaceship also gets caught up in the Step crystal's power, and they end up following the Therulons to this prehistoric world. The Therulon leader, Emperor Therulon, is a frog humanoid who decides that they must return to their future world as soon as possible. For this, they need to steal the Therulon space-time energy projector, and Therulon orders the Therulons to search for the Therulons.
His space-time energy projector. I must have it to return to my empire.
He also has his eye on the dinosaurs, and conjures a plan to exploit them for his own benefit. The Therulons use their technologically advanced weapons to capture the dinosaurs and cruelly modify the dinosaurs' heads to fit mind-controlling devices called brain boxes. Therulon soon has an army of dinosaurs under his control, and he exploits these animals' strength to attack the Therulons. The Valorians are initially confused as to why some of the dinosaurs are getting so violent, while the rest of the dinosaurs are letting the Valorians ride them quite peacefully. In the meantime, Krulos fits the brain box on more dinosaurs. He has even created dinosaur armor that can shoot lasers, and he tests them out on dinosaurs under his control. Though satisfied with the results, Krulos wants to capture more dinosaurs and wishes to get his hands on the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Now the Valorians cannot stop me.
The Valorians get used to riding the dinosaurs, and then regroup outside the valley. Here, the Valorian turret is constructing a wall to stop the Tyrannosaurus Rex from entering the valley where they parked their spaceship. As they talk amongst themselves, the Valorians notice lasers shooting from outside the valley. They realize that such a laser viper was used in the future only by the Therulons. Their leader, Quastar, sends Gunnar and another Valorian to investigate the source. They end up at the Therulons' base and find themselves cornered by the Therulons, who attack them with lasers. The Valorians look for a way to escape and finally start to fire to divert Therulons' attention and run away. The Tyrannosaurus Rex makes an appearance, and Krulos sends his army of Therulons with his trained dinosaurs to shoot him down with lasers. He finally manages to capture the Rex, and he fits a brain box on the dinosaur's head despite the animal's protests. In the meantime, the Valorians make a plan to attack Krulos, while Mindzay advises them not to underestimate the Therulon leader. The two groups finally face each other, and the Valorians fend themselves against the Therulons and his army of dinosaurs. While they're busy, Krulos sends some of his Therulons to the Valorian spaceship to steal the step. Mindzay had stayed back in their spaceship, and he defeats both these Therulons single-handedly.
The Therulon Empire is finished.
On a different side of the valley, Quastar faces Krulos himself, who has taken over the prized Tyrannosaurus Rex. Quastar notices the headgear that has trapped the dinosaurs to do Therulon's bidding. He uses his telepathy with Serena and tells her to shoot the T-Rex's brain box off. Once the equipment falls off his head, the dinosaur snaps out of Krulos' control and goes on a rampage to attack him. The Therulons retreat away, and the Valorians celebrate their victory against them. They even declare that they are not Valorians anymore. They are Dino-Riders.
We're not Valorians anymore. We're Dino-Riders.
However, the Therulons do not give up so quickly, and they return in the next episode titled Revenge of the Therulons. The episode begins with Quastar and Serena coming across the Stegosaurus, who's been injured in a fight against the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They rescue the dinosaur and return with it to the rest of the group.
We are your friends. We will not harm you.
To find that all the Valorians have discovered their preferred ride. They now have a rare Dimetrodon and a Pachycephalosaurus, among other dinosaurs. While they boast about their rides, the ground beneath them starts to rumble and scares the dinosaurs away. The Valorians wait for the rumbling to pass, but the ground beneath them shakes more violently, and then they realize there's an earthquake. As the earthquake passes, they return to their spaceship to find that almost 70% of their ship has been destroyed. They are also defenseless against the Therulons since most of the dinosaurs ran away during the earthquake. While some of the Valorians leave to find more dinosaurs, the rest of them assess their damages. As it turns out, their Step Crystal's power source had been destroyed, and they needed an alternate power source. Vector analyzes the damages and concludes that they need some lava to fix the machine. In the meantime, Krulos manages to recapture the Tyrannosaurus, and once again brings the dinosaur under his control. Youngstar, Serena, and Tark decide to go to the volcanoes to collect the lava. On the other hand, Tag and Gunnar team up to find more dinosaurs, and the young Lad also joins them. As they travel around the valleys and look for dinosaurs, Lad gets into trouble with the Therulons and gets captured by them. Tag and Gunnar realize that Lad is being held hostage by the Therulons a little too late, and Gunnar asks Lad to hang on and promises to free him soon. When Youngstar, Serena, and Tark return after collecting lava,
That about does it, Youngstar.
they are cornered by the Therulons, who claim to have a message for Youngstar. They tell him that Krulos has captured Lad, and is willing to return him on the condition that the Valorians hand over their space-time energy projector to him. They return to Quastar, and the group gathers together to decide how to rescue Lad. While Mindzay advises them to stall a little, the others want to go on the offense and break into Krulos' base camp. After much discussion, they come up with the Project Still, and decide to take the Stegosaurus with them in case they face the Tyrannosaurus again. Youngstar, accompanied by two others, hides behind the dinosaurs, and they sneak into Krulos' territory unnoticed. Youngstar rescues Lad, and they almost make it out of the place without being detected. In the meantime, Quastar and the rest of the group distract the Therulons so that Youngstar and Lad can escape safely. Quastar runs into Krulos in the middle of a valley and finds himself face to face with Krulos's Tyrannosaurus. However, this time he has a Stegosaurus to put a fight against the Tyrannosaurus. As they launch into an attack, Quastar uses his telepathy to send a message to Tark to execute Project Landslide. On Quastar's orders, Tark pushes a large boulder off the cliff, and the rock creates an obstacle between Krulos and Quastar. Quastar and the rest of the group use this as their cue to escape, while Youngstar and Lad also make their way to safety. The Dino-Riders do not have long to rejoice their victory as Krulos continues to come up with new ideas to steal the Step Crystal. In the episode titled Therulon Stampede, Krulos initially barges into the Dino-Riders camp and hopes to defeat them with the aid of a few dinosaurs.
Attack! Destroy the Dino-Riders!
As the Valorians spot the Therulons approaching their camp from afar, they get ready for battle.
What is it? What's happening?
The Therulons! They're attacking! They'll be here any minute!
Quastar finds himself face to face with Krulos and his Tyrannosaurus Rex once again. While the rest of the Dino-Riders face off with the other Therulons, amid the chaos, Gunner's Torosaurus gets critically injured, and it does not look like he will make it. Serena uses her powers to heal the dinosaur and shares all of her energy with it, which leaves her exhausted. As she struggles to recover, yet another dinosaur of the species Monoclonius is hurt in battle and needs Serena's energy to heal. Even at the cost of sacrificing her life, Serena gives all the energy to the dinosaur and saves its life. However, Serena ends up losing her consciousness, and Quastar tells the group that the only way to save her is by performing an ancient Valorian rite of restoration. Youngstar rushes to get the Step Crystal to perform the ritual, and they soon start the process. All the Valorians have to give up some of their life energy to restore her, and she finally returns to life. In the meantime, Krulos decides that he needs an even larger army of dinosaurs if he wishes to defeat Quastar and get the Step Crystal. He sends an army of dinosaurs to create a stampede at the Dino-Riders base camp, and he follows behind in the hopes of stealing the Step Crystal among the chaos. Back at the spaceship, the Dino-Riders anticipate an attack and get ready to defend themselves. Total chaos breaks out as the dinosaurs wreck the Dino-Riders camp, and Krulos breaks into the ship to steal the crystal. However, he is unaware that Quastar has replaced the original crystal with a duplicate. The original crystal is safe with the Valorians, and Krulos realizes that he's been fooled. In the next episode, titled The Blue Skies of Earth, the Dino-Riders finally get a moment's peace and spend their time flying around the skies on the dinosaurs. They also upgrade their technology, attach new saddles to the dinosaurs, and modernize their rides. In the meantime, there's some unrest at Krulos' camp, as two of his most trusted Therulons fight against each other to become his second in command.
We'll see. We'll see.
In this episode, we finally get a glimpse into the inner workings of Krulos' camp and a proper introduction to some important Therulons. Rasp, a humanoid with cobra-like features, seems to be Krulos' favorite, and a top choice for the role in second command. However, he is faced with Hammerhead, who resembles a shark, and is one of Krulos' most reliable members when it comes to fighting against the Valorians. To win Krulos' favor, Rasp plots an attack against the Dino-Riders and collects an army of Pteranodons for Krulos to lead an attack. Krulos orders Hammerhead to lead the airstrike for the attack, and Rasp is given the task of stealing the Step Crystal. However, Quastar corners Rasp and defeats him easily. In the meantime, Krulos leads an attack upon the Dino-Riders, who've prepared ahead of time to trap Krulos. While Krulos marches forward on his dinosaur, he steps into a puddle created by the Valorians in order to trap the Therulons. Krulos finds himself stuck and is unable to get out of the sticky mess of the puddle. He accepts his defeat and vows to return to get revenge one way or another. In the next episode, Taurus, the young lad is sent to train with the dinosaurs under Tag and Gunner's Eye. However, they are disrupted by Krulos and his army of Therulons, who launch a surprise attack on the Dino-Riders. Amid the chaos, Lad finds it difficult to control his dinosaur and finds that the lasers on his dinosaur have jammed. However, the rest of the Dino-Riders manage to defeat Krulos and celebrate their victory while Lad sulks in a corner. He is disappointed because he couldn't be much help and decides to run away all by himself. The other Dino-Riders notice his absence and frantically search for him. Tag and Gunner finally locate Lad, who seems to be stuck around a few dinosaurs. They come to his rescue and together return him to their base. In the meantime, Krulos takes advantage of the fact that the Dino-Riders left their camp to look for Lad, and he launches an attack on their base. Once again, Quastar and his companions defend themselves and emerge victorious against Krulos. This episode ends with a lesson on unity and how the Dino-Riders can overcome any attack as as long as they work together and stick by each other's side. As the show progresses, the Therulons and the Dino-Riders keep clashing, as Krulos refuses to give up until he gets his hand on the step crystal.
Questar, Tark, I give you Dimetrodon. 3 tons of fighting force.
Exploring some of the important characters, the Valorians, led by Questar, and the Therulons, led by Emperor Krulos, were the show's main characters, along with the various species of dinosaurs that lived on the Earth. The Valorians were a futuristic species from the planet Valoria, and had certain powers, such as the ability to communicate using telepathy. Under the leadership of Questar, the Valorians used their telepathy to befriend the dinosaurs by using their amp necklaces. Questar was a great leader to the Valorians, who fearlessly resolved any crisis faced by his group, as well as the dinosaurs. Questar was quite skilled in combat, and he often went up against Krulos, and had defeated him on many occasions. In any battle, Questar always ensured that dinosaurs' safety was not compromised, and tried to avoid any violent wars as much as possible. Emperor Krulos, on the other hand, looked for any opportunity to wage an attack on the Valorians. He also brainwashed the dinosaurs, and creates brain boxes that help him control them, and makes them work for him. He ruled over the Therulons, who were humanoids that resembled various animals, such as frogs, sharks, snakes, etc. Krulos' preferred ride was a Tyrannosaurus Rex, especially when fighting against the Valorians. Marvelous verdict on the greatness of the show. Dino-Riders was an instant hit with audiences and was an absolute classic among cartoon series in the 80s. Fans especially loved the combination of the dinosaurs' strength paired with the sci-fi elements, which merged to create a world where dinosaurs dressed in battle armor and attacked their opponents with missiles and laser guns. A wide range of dinosaur species were written into the show, and the writers were really creative with the character designs for the dinosaurs and the Valorians and the Therulons. Though the show's animation was not really the best, the artwork, on the other hand, was truly commendable and made the show quite aesthetically pleasing to watch. The show's popularity led to the success of the Dino-Riders toy lines as well, and they were quite the craze back in the 80s. Dino-Riders combined science fiction with dinosaurs and made for an enthralling show that deserves more recognition than it gets. Will there be a reboot? The Dino-Riders series has not had a reboot so far, and it's not very likely that the show will be rebooted anytime soon. The show ran for about 1 season in 1988, and though it was pretty popular, especially due to the toy line that came with it, the show has been forgotten over time. Their toy line had quite a magnificent run, and was a great marketing strategy for the Dino-Riders brand. If the show was ever rebooted, it would be a wise idea to base the reboot on toy designs rather than the show's character designs. Dino-Riders comic series. In 1989, Marvel Comics published a volume of a Dino-Riders limited comic series, which consisted of 3 issues. The comic was based on the same concept as the animated show, released a year earlier, and it followed the same storyline. However, some elements of the show were modified for the comics, as the comic was set against a darker backdrop. The first issue of the comic, titled The Path, followed the Valorians' arrival on Earth. Only in this version, Valoria was destroyed while they were traveling to the pass, and Questar blamed himself for not being able to save Valoria. Moreover, some of the other Valorians, especially Ariel and Tark, questioned Questar's leadership skills, and even wanted him to give up the title of leader. The rest of the comic covered the Therulons' arrival on Earth, and Krulos' efforts to bring the dinosaurs under his control. While Krulos gets his hand on the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tark challenges Questar for the fight to lead, which was an ancient Valorian law. According to this law, Questar was obliged to step down as leader if Tark managed to defeat him in combat. In the meantime, Krulos launches an attack on the Valorians. In an unfortunate turn of events, Tark creeps upon Questar and shoots him from the back. However, Questar senses the danger behind him and assumes that it's Krulos who's about to kill him. Questar shoots his laser gun at who he thinks is Krulos, but turns out to be Tark. Tark loses his balance and falls off the cliff while dodging Questar's attack. At the end of the issue, Ariel labels Questar as a murderer and places him under arrest. The story continues in the next issue, titled The Trial, where Questar is brought into question for killing Tark. Questar pleads not guilty and tries to explain that he was acting in self-defense. Mind Zaid declares that he believes Questar is not a cold-blooded criminal, and Ariel is furious to learn that Mind Zay acquitted Questar. The rest of the Valorians still question Questar's innocence, and the trial continues outside. We also learn that Serena was married to Tark, but she broke off the engagement. Tark had been quite resentful over this, and even blamed Quastar for being the reason why she broke their engagement. The Valorians are pretty distracted by the trial, and they don't pay any attention to the Therulons. Meanwhile, Krulos captures the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and successfully fits the brain box on the dinosaur. As the trial continues, Mind-Zay, Ariel, and Serena are handed the responsibility of passing the judgment regarding Quastar's innocence. They conduct a mind probe test, which looks into Quastar's thoughts by using telepathy. While Serena and Mind-Zay rule as not guilty, Ariel still stands by his belief that Quastar murdered Tark in cold blood. Quastar wanders off by himself to clear his mind when he comes across Krulos and the Tyrannosaurus. He finds himself cornered, and Serena comes to his rescue and saves him from Krulos. They also discover that Krulos is after their step crystal. They return to their base camp, and the Therulons soon attack the place in order to get the step crystal. Quastar steps up and defeats Krulos, and even saves Ariel's life before taking a hit for him. Ariel finally accepts that Quastar could have not killed Tark on purpose, and thanks him for saving his life. As the issue ends, we are introduced to Magnus, a Valorian who does not want Quastar as his leader, and seems to have some plans to sabotage Quastar. In the final issue of the Dino-Riders comic, Tark makes a comeback that leaves everyone surprised. It appears that he had survived the fall after all, though he did suffer some injuries that left him disoriented. He ends up getting captured by the Therulons, who take him to Krulos. Tark blames Krulos for destroying his world, and the Therulons' leader is enraged by his behavior. Krulos' second-in-command, Rasp, wishes to take Tark, and Krulos permits him to use Tark in any way he sees fit. Rasp shackles Tark to an advanced machine, and reveals that he has plans to take his Valorian DNA and combine it with the dinosaur's DNA to create a super powerful mutation. Rasp intends to brainbox Tark, and then use him to first destroy Krulos. He then has an ambitious plan to destroy the Dino-Riders as well, and rule as a supreme being of the universe. Though Tark is in tremendous pain, he refuses to be of any help in destroying his own people. Just as the experiment is in its final stages, Tark uses all of his strength to break free from the machine, and emerges as a super powerful mutant. He then escapes the place while Rasp updates Krulos about the happenings in the lab. Meanwhile, Tark uses his newfound strength to free many dinosaurs from the Brainbox's control. He also wishes to return to the Valorians, but is horrified at his new appearance, and does not want Serena to see him like this. On another side of the valley, the Tyrannosaurus launches an attack on the Valorians. Serena's life is endangered, and though Tark does not want her to see him like this, he rushes to save her life. He helps the Tyrannosaurus break free from the Brainbox's control, and the dinosaur diverts its attention to Tark and leaves Serena untouched. Tark finds himself struggling to fight against the Tyrannosaurus, and discovers that his new body is not invincible after all. However, he still fights with all of his might, and finally defeats Rex. Having defeated the mighty Tyrannosaurus, Tark then declares himself as the Lord of the Dinosaurs, and the comic comes to an end. Though Dino-Riders was mainly created in order to boost sales of a toy line, the show in itself was pretty captivating and garnered many devoted fans. With its fascinating storylines that involved time travel, evil humanoids in the form of villains, and most importantly, dinosaurs, the show was a massive hit with the audiences. Dino-Riders series even inspired many dinosaur character designs and animation. One such example is T-Rex from Toy Story, as it is established that the character's design was inspired by the Tyrannosaurus Rex from the Dino-Riders. The Dino-Riders series was a first attempt at incorporating dinosaurs into an animated TV series, and it was very well executed. The series was quite ahead of its time and is a legendary show that has sadly been forgotten over the years. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
We're not Valorians anymore. We're Dino-Riders.